Welcome back. In this video, we'll take care of fixing this UI issue. I'll take care of that first, and we can take care of other things. So let's go to welcome.edge, and we got this here, right? So basically, this is where our design goes. So it's simple. What we can do is we can add a class here. So just adding a class called form data or something like that. Right, so in app.edge you can go ahead and change the style here, right? So we can say form data, and you can say display inline, right? So inline will do. So if I go ahead and refresh this, sure enough, this is how we should get. And we need to add this class here. So copy this class, and we can paste this in past and new, right? So just to make sure this works, so form data in past, just adding that would do. All right, that's how it should work. So that's where we are going to work. So second thing, as you can see, this is the home page, right? So in home page, what we need to do is we need to show the data based on upvotes count. Let's say if this upvote count is higher than this one, we need to show this on the top instead of this one, right? So as you can see here, this AdonisJs has one upvote, but plus Flutter seems to a good framework has no upvotes. This is wrong, right? It should be on top, it should be on below. For that we need to change things. So another thing is I have added a lot of news to check our application here, right? So for that, it'll take care of this from here, right? So as you can see, we can do by we can go to home controller here, and we can create here. Oops. So as you can see in here, we can use as you have already what to say. You might already guessed, right? So we can use order by here. So we used upvotes count, right? So by that we are showing the upvotes count of an application. So upvotes count of a news, right? So with that we have upvotes count, right? So make sure you have the with count upvotes available so that we can have up the upvote counts. So with upvote counts we can make this as a descending order. We can show that based on descending order. So now what it will do is it will show all the data on the top which has highest number of upvotes. So basically it look for upvotes table, and it counts which news have a lot of upvotes, right? So based on that it will moves the news on the top. So now if I go ahead and refresh this, as you can see, Flutter seems to have a good framework. Goes down, AngularJs goes up. So if you go ahead and increase this one, it will go on top, it will come below. That's how it should work. So as you can see, other things here have a lesser number of upvotes. Now let's say if I'm uploading this last one here. Cool, I uploaded this, right? So if I refresh this, now if I go ahead and see, the view is on the top and 0 things on the bottom. And if I click this, Flutter seems to be a good framework, and this is on the top and other things are on the down. So just to make sure the data is working. So as you can see, it goes above. The Flutter seems to be a good framework. Why? This added before this one, right? So the same upvotes, the upvotes are same, so that's why it's going on top. So the 2-in-1 thing here happening. So if it is added before this one and it has more number of upvotes, it goes on top. All right, so same upvotes makes sense. So if you want to go this to the top, you need to have highest number of upvotes. That should put that on the top. So basically it helps in the way we are using the application. So basically what we can do is yeah, that's how it should work. Now it's kind of working, right? So I oh yeah, I added here extra news. So to check our application whether we are using a pagination or not, we need to check. All right, how we can check? So we can make every application. So let's say this is just 10 news or 8 news or something like that. So we can easily scroll down and see what if it goes around hundreds, 200s, 300s. So we can't do anything, right? So we need paginations to maintain that. So how we can do pagination in application? So it's simple. In Adonis we have something called paginate, right? So paginate based on, so first value based on how many uh, alright, so how many pages, what exactly, I mean, what exact page, and count, how many count you need in that pagination. So basically for one single page how many news you want. To use that we can use something called request. So you already know that, right? So it's fairly simple. So const page equals request dot get dot page, or basically it won't get the first page, it will get the second from it will start from the second page. So or we need, if that is undefined, we can get one. So we need to use that, right? So how we can get, so now we can go ahead and so we console.log page. All right, so we have a page in it, right? So we don't need to use fetch here. Dot fetch we don't need to use since we have the paginations. So page per page we need 5. All right, so I just need to check that out. So paginate 5, right? So now if I go ahead and refresh, that should show the error. Sure enough, it shows error just because root global variable error. It's simple, fairly simple error. So we need to check this one before why this error is happening. So for that we just need to comment this out. We'll use response here to check this as a JSON response. Right, so I refresh this, sure enough I will get that, right? So before that we got everything, but here now we can see per page 5, page number 1. If I go ahead and see here, I got 1 here, right? So just to make sure everything works, I got 1. So now how we can go to a second page? It's fairly simple. Question mark page equals 2. As you can see, the page is 2. Alright, so the page is 2, and now we can see the different data is coming up. So page per page 5, page number is 2, last page 2. So as we can have total of 10 data we have, so it is using as 5 which is we will be having 2 pages, right? So this is, we can have different kind of things. So last page, everything that works, right? So we have the last page 1, page number, what page this is in, and per page we have, and the total number of pages, total number of data we have. So we need to show the data first, right? So how we can show? We'll get back to the same here, and we'll stop this here. I will take this out. Instead this one we need to use view. Alright, so that's how it should work. If I go ahead and refresh again it's simple, we're going to get the error. Cool. How we can solve this error? As you can see, inside that we have data, right? So we need to get data from story from news.data, and boom, that works. Now if you can see, we have only 5 data, not the 10 data as you see. So now we can go to page equals 2, which is going to get the data, last 5 data, right? So we can easily switch back and forth. So we need a next button here. So basically we can go to welcome.edge, and below this end each here we can say in fact inside this After this one, we can have a button here. Alright, so let's see how it should work, how it works. So we can have let's say row justify content center, and we'll have a button not disabled here, right? So just button, the class of btn primary, and we can say next. Alright, so btn primary. Alright, so now if I go ahead and refresh, now we have the next button here, right? So somehow it is getting some kind of weird error, so just make this out of this too. Alright, so put this here. So if I hit refresh, it should come out of it. Let's put empty3 or something like that, maybe. We don't need this as a button, we need this as a anchor tag so that we can go back and forth. So if you can see here, as simply we can do different things with anchor tag. So href, what we can do is as simple, we need to go to the next page, right? So we need to just move to the page with the let's say question mark page equals. So as you can see, we have news, right? So news dot next or something like that. We don't know, right? We forgot that one. So we need to go to here, and instead of returning the view, let's do return response dot json news, right? So use response here. Refresh this one here. Alright, so in here we have last page, we have data, we have page number, right? So we got the current page here, right? So how we can get, so now here we can do is in welcome.edge we have the page, right? News.page +1, that should go, right? So if I go ahead and refresh this, actually we need to change here. Refresh here. Now if we go ahead and see, now we got this one here, right? So if we click next, I got the next page. Now it will show the empty page now if I click this one, right? Why? Just because there is no page 3 exists. So we can say we can do, let's do something like, let's do here, let's do alright, news dot last page. Alright, so if I hit refresh here, okay, we don't have something like last page. Let's see, we keep forgetting things here. Sorry about that. There was not that much, how to say, I don't have that much memory power here. So yes, refresh this here. As you can see here, we have last page 2, right? So cool. How we can get here? So we can give a check here. Alright, we can go and give a check here at if, oops, right? So let's do if news dot last page equal to page news dot page. We should not say, we should not show this one, right? Instead we can say end of page, right? So how we can show that? We can say, let's say h1 no more data found. All right, so now hit refresh. Oops, I need to change here. I keep forgetting things. All right, so comment this out, put this as a view here, refresh. Oops, what is this all about? That's this undefined here is coming from here. So let's do this. Let's cut this out. We need to put it in else. Oops. Alright, let's do a quick formatting here. Alright, so now if we go ahead and refresh this. Cool. Now if I click page 2, there is no page, so now it says no more data found. Cool, that's how it should work. Alright, so we have completed the pagination here, and we need something to finish here. What else? So as you can see, instead of no more data, we can say preview here, previous page here, right? Something like that. So we need previous page as well. How we can give the page another, what to say, previous page thing? It's fairly simple. As you can see, previous here, just say previous. We can do what we can do here. In fact, we don't need to show it here. We need to do an if statement again, and we need to put this here, news dot page -1. All right, so what check we need? So if page news dot page equal to 1, it shouldn't show, right? So it should not show. So basically adult should show this one. All right, so adults it should show this. If it is the thing, it should be empty. If it is not the thing, it shouldn't be empty. So in fact, we can say we'll do we don't need to do anything here, right? Just leave it as it is. All right, now we can hit a refresh this. It should obviously it should look ugly here. No more data found, right? So just have some data that should work. So if I go ahead and click this one, previous gone, but it worked. Somehow it worked. It should work, right? So obvious, pretty obvious, this one. So no more data found. What we can do instead of no more data found? So it's having the same. Let's say no more data found here. Let's say let's do, instead of h1 you can say in a span class of text meter, and same here we can say span text meter page number page 1. Again, I don't know how ugly it gonna look. Depends. No more data found. If I click previous, page number 1. Alright, so we can let's let's do something like we can move this if statements below another div tag. So they basically that should work, I think. Alright, should work. Kind of okay for me here. So just add empty3 to empty1 and here add empty2. That makes sense. Alright, so now if I go ahead click next, it should go next. There is no data, so it shows no more data found. So we can go to previous here. As you can see, we have both data. That should work. So next, now we have previous. Now if I add new thing, let's say add a title of Karthik here or something like that, www.karthik.tech. Okay, we should add HTTP here. Alright, I created the news, right? So I can go to Hacker News here, page 1, click next. I have previous and next button because there's another lost data I have, which is Karthik. So it finally says no more data found. I can go previous back and forth. That should do. So it's kind of ugly, but for our learning purpose, this is more than, how to say, this is more than best, right? So who can write better code than this, right? So as you can see, there will be no errors. If I go ahead to page 3, it shows. If I go ahead to page 4, obvious there should be an error. So it shows previous and next. Kind of a bad one, right? So alright, we need to check here. We need to check everything here, and we need to, how to say, we need to, based on that, we need to write code based on that. So I hope we can do that, right? So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for pagination here, and it shows based on the count. Now as you can see, we can add for this one too, right? So we can go to home-control.js and we'll add this one. Let's copy this, go ahead here, put this here, paste this here. So let's do request here, request, right? So we can say, instead of fetch, paginate page 5, right? So we'll do that. 5 is different, like alright, we'll do 5. That'll be no problem for us here. So another thing we need to copy here. Alright, so just do request, and instead of this you need to say paginate page 5. Final thing, don't forget, we need to add the stylings in here. Alright, so as simple as that. Refresh this, go to new, go to past, go. That's how it should work. Pretty obvious here. Cool. So this kind of bad design is because of the divs I added. So just kind of leave this one, right? So you can move to comments here, right? So you can click comments and go to the comments of this news. For that you need to create the comments table, right? I'll take care of that in the next video. Bye bye.